Welcome, everyone, to day 19 of the 30 Days of Transformation, a journey to your true self. Today, we're going to talk about developing your intuition. This is something that we need to do as we move into our true self. We really need to learn how to trust ourselves and trust our gifts that allows us to show up in our full power, our full ability to create. When we don't listen to that inner voice, what tends to happen is we miss out on opportunities. We miss out on getting in alignment with the fullest version of ourselves, of what our soul's called to be doing, because we second guess, or we hem haw, or we hold back, or we question. And it's okay to discern, but there can be too much of a block that I call it most people call it the paralysis and analysis paralysis. You get stuck in that whole analyzing loop that keeps you just spinning wheels. Now, here's the thing, that takes more energy to spin in loops like that and going nowhere than it does to even take the action to create and make things happen. So when I talked a couple days ago, or maybe even yesterday, I don't remember, but people talking about how much I get done, how fast, it's because I really trust the inner GPS, my inner compass. And, my body speaks to me. And you learn to have this real deep connection and communication with yourself and listening and knowing too that it's from you and from your highest good. And then taking action on that and stop second guessing if it is right for you. Because the key is, when it comes to what you experience, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, it's always right for you, because it's helping mold you to who you are and to who you're becoming. And so you're learning how to make these decisions. You're learning how to navigate the journey. You're learning how to navigate the process of coming into more of your own truth, more of your own awareness, and your own ability to discern. So one of the things that I would like to invite you to do is to start to look at these scenarios of things that you might have show up in your life and look at it from a place of, how do I want to say this? Because I feel a very specific word coming in here. Okay, so here's an analogy of what I'm trying to say. It's real easy to look at obstacles as an obstacle or a challenge. But instead of looking at that as an obstacle, start to look at everything as an opportunity. And so when these things come and you're looking at the obstacle side, start to ask your higher self, ask your guides, ask for your highest good to be revealed. Ask for the blocks that are underneath blocking you from seeing that to be removed and revealed, so you can see and heal what that is within yourself. From there, the key in that is taking action, whatever that action is. And action could be no action. Action could be just changing a thought. Action could be taking an action into something that could be scary or that you're afraid of or you have doubts about. When we're moving across this bridge from our prior self into our new version and of the highest version, which is the key, and there's this gap and there's this sense of wilderness I keep talking about, that when you get into that place, the only thing you can count on is your inner GPS. So if someone is telling you what you should or shouldn't do, that's giving your power away. And we have talked about this several days now, of some different things about owning your power. And I want to invite you to go back for some more details of that if you've missed it and you haven't watched my full series of today being day 20. Go back to the entire playlist. And you can do that over on YouTube. Go in my YouTube channel, Twin Flame Expert, go into my playlist and you will see the 30 Days of Transformation. I would also invite you to go ahead and subscribe there and hit the notification bell, because that can help you know whenever I come live for the next several days here. So I can't even believe this is basically 2/3 of the way done. These things always fly when I do these. It's amazing. how it is. And I always say that, like, in this process, I don't just show up here from a place of showing up. And even though I do it to serve and to share, I go through the transformation, the work I shared, like the every day is not really planned out anything I say. I just sit here and say it, but I'm always using my own reflection and my own examples, the things I've went through to share with people. And that takes a lot of trust to do that, you see, to sit down here and really just know you have a topic and to not know how that topic's going to come out and not know what you're technically going to share. That takes a lot of trust in your own ability to discern and understand the powers in you to create from your highest version of you. But we got to get out of our head. And most importantly, we got to get out of our own way, because the things that we do in these challenges most often is self perpetuated. It's self-destructive, it's self-sabotage, and those can be underlying programs that you've adopted somewhere along the way, or even in past life or past life karma, that is coming through for you to purge and purify and clear, not just for yourself, but for the collective shift that we're going through in consciousness. So as you go up in your consciousness of these things of who you're becoming, which no, we're not arriving. That's the other piece in this. Everybody thinks that they're trying to get on this journey to ascension and arrive at some place, some point. And it's not even about where you're going, it's the journey that counts. And as you let go of what doesn't serve you and you strip and peel back those layers, and then you start to maybe get a glimpse of who the new version of you is, that calls for new thoughts, feelings, actions that you're not maybe used to. And then not to mention, it's really easy to get stuck in that gap between those versions of you. And like I mentioned, as a collective right now, a lot of people are in the wilderness because they no longer identify with themselves, their life, um, what's even, the things around them, maybe a job, maybe a home, like all these things. And so you've been upgrading to this new version, but now it's the new version of you in your life trying to kind of catch up here. And you really have to learn to trust that in that gap. And that's, again, following your inner GPS to do that, following your inner intuition, following your guidance. So if for some reason you get stuck on this, know that it's creating like a missed opportunity for you. And you're the one slowing down the process. And that's how we can speed up the process, when we learn to not hold on to things and we learn to maneuver. We learn to have loose structure. We learn ease, grace, and flow, and not be too mental, and not be so over compassionate that we don't set some boundaries, and learn how to speak up for ourselves and to share our own truth, and to even share our own vulnerability, to be able to share who we are at the core. And we hear a lot of the buzzword, to the point a lot of people in the spiritual world are even tired of hearing the word authentic. But what I would change it to, if you were going to change it, it's your true self. It's the self within yourself that is the highest version of you, that is trying to actualize into your daily life and to show up from a place of thinking, feeling, taking actions based on the version of you that is the best version of you as you're moving through this journey. And that will really help you um, navigate, if you can really just stop fighting this sense of, you know, being in control, not being open to receiving things that might be bigger, better, or different than what you think, but you're so attached to something that you perceive to be the end all be all, that you're not giving space to receive something better that's coming in. And we're all changing and growing and evolving faster than we can execute any of this in our life. That's why everything's just so quick. And so while you're thinking, well, why isn't this happened yet? Or why do I keep having to go through these things? It's really because you're still catching up to what the best version of you is, and it's becoming. And the minute you let go of the idea of that you have to be in control of this process, and you begin to trust and maybe follow your signs, have an inner dialogue on a daily basis, which would be very helpful for you to learn how to listen to your own soul, learn how to listen to your own self. The world has a lot of noise in it. And the more we, subject ourselves to outward noise, and don't know how to be still, don't know how to listen, the more we do what I call is creative avoidance. So you go through this process, can never be still long enough to hear yourself think, because there's too much stuff going on inside of you that's got you in the monkey mind, or got you in this sense of fear, or again, I said the doubts. But get really clear on who it is you would want to be, as for the greatest version you could possibly think of or possibly see. And then on a daily basis, just start to communicate with even that person, saying, what is it that I need to do? What is it I need to know? What is it I need to think or feel that represents that person? And if you're going through something today and you look at that and be like, okay, is that something that the new version of me would actually participate in? And I won't even say the new, I'm going to say the highest version. Because if it's not something of the highest good, then technically you can be blocking your ability, again, to receive what is the highest good, because you're so stuck on something that's not fully the highest good. So I talked about this when we started, practicing the mindfulness and doing meditation, but meditation being your daily life, to think of your life as a meditation, not to think that you have to sit down and be still, but it's more like learning how to be conscious. And it's also more like learning how to live consciously, to where when you are in that state of consciousness from your highest good, you learn how to pause. You learn how to reflect. You don't respond, or maybe you do. Let me back that up. You can respond rather than react. Okay. Now, that being said, we're all human. And that's another piece of this. And all your aspects in you have emotions. And it's not uncommon, as we go through all this, to be emotionally charged. So rather than sabotaging yourself for that, you can dissolve that faster and integrate with that by honoring how you feel and truly listening to how you feel, and no longer judging how you feel, thinking that it's not right to feel that way, or not okay to feel that. So I'm just going to tune in now just for a minute and see if there's anything else that needs to come through for today. And I just want to do a recap. This is day 20 of my 30 days of transformation, a journey to your true self, helping you navigate this, letting go of a previous identity, awaken to this newer version of you. And how do you basically collapse that gap at the quickest, highest quantum speed? And so that's what I've been doing. That's what I teach people how for really 30 years, but that's picked up speed in the last 8 years, and through my own journey of that, walking every path within that, to also learn tips, tools, and techniques that have helped me, and to show up and share. And that's one of the things I'd invite you, if you want a quantum leap in closing this gap between this old version, the highest version. That's one of the things that we'll be doing at the Sedona Rebirth Tour, or Sedona Rejuvenation Tour, here in Sedona, April 4th through 7th. And if that is, resonating with you, if you're getting that little ding or that nudge that, giving you an opportunity to feel like, like this really resonates, then check out the link in the description above or below, or on Instagram. The link is in my bio. What I have to tell you is, anytime, like I said, I do something like this, I live it out as I'm going. But anytime I also do a retreat or an event or anything I'm doing, it doesn't even matter, whatever I'm creating, I live what I'm doing. And that calls a lot for your intuition. That calls a lot of listening. That calls a lot of trusting, and allowing yourself to feel out, and keeping in mind, this whole journey is not eating an elephant in one bite. It's one decision at a time. It's one thought at a time. It's one action at a time. And we can get super overwhelmed by the whole process. But when you go to develop your intuition, and you're learning to listen to the inner voice, try to take at least one step at a time, one moment at a time, and that will help you navigate the process of the journey because you're staying present. And see, and to live consciously and to be conscious, we have to learn to live present. And that's the only place you're going to truly hear your true self, your highest self. And what you're really feeling is in this present moment. And that's where just being really mindful of it. So if you, what it would challenge you to do is just to be like, okay, first of all, say, yes, I'm ready to connect with the higher version of myself. And in doing that, I understand that calls for me learning to listen to my inner voice, to navigate the wilderness with my own inner GPS. And so therefore, communicate and say, what do I need to do to develop this? How can I show up every day from a place of I trust myself? And just take little steps towards it. And that will over time, be because you probably heard this thing, and this is a different analogy, but it's a good point. You hear that saying that somebody's a overnight 20-year success, right? And I know that's me because, fail forward, right? And that's kind of how we all really do. But what happens is we develop the intuition as we become our higher self, our true self, and we become more enlightened. It's just like a lotus flower that, the roots are in the mud and you can't see what's in the mud because it's all muddy but the roots are down there and there's nothing but a pad there, on top. And you're like, when's this flower going to bloom? And then overnight the flower will come out after years of rooting, right? After a long time of rooting. And so you're rooting who you are, who you're becoming, who you've been. You're integrating all the parts of you. You're collecting your soul fragments. Give yourself some grace and just for once, just try to feel your way through a process of having compassion for yourself. And then that will be the epitome of self-love when you can accept yourself for all of your flaws, all of your perfection, and to know that everything is perfect and perfectly imperfect, and that you're just continuing to navigate the journey the best you can, and to know that that journey's perfect the way it is. So anyway, I could probably go on for hours or days. And I know I've had a lot of you over on YouTube that has been following me. A lot of people have been following me. So I want to thank all of you. But if you want to catch up on YouTube, there is a playlist there. And so you can head to YouTube and go to my playlist of the 30 days of transformation. Today's day 20, and you'll get caught up with everything that I've been doing. And while you're there, if you subscribe, hit the notification bell, over the next time frame that I finish this 30-day series, you'll get notified when I come live, because that's what I was going to say. I have a lot of people that are, getting notified and coming live. But I want to again thank all of you for being a part of my journey. I want to thank all of you for your support. It's been a piece of this, I have to tell you, in the trusting aspect, to listen to your intuition is elevating your trust meter. And the way I teach that is that the more you trust, the more you let go. And the more you let go, the more you allow. And the more you allow, the more you elevate your ability to be open to receiving and to believing something greater than what has been or is. As humans, we want tangible results, and we want those results now. And we also want solid, concrete facts to know that, is this truth? And so the way you can develop that in yourself with your intuition and your trust is to begin to take, as I was saying, the small steps, and I'm taking this one layer deeper for you, is to notice the signs and synchronicities that show up in your life to show you what you've already been thinking, feeling, and then from there be like, wow, that basically transpired better and bigger than I could have done if I'd even planned it. And that's what happens in this journey a lot of times. Everything unfolds bigger and better than if we would have planned it. When you have even those little bits of like insights to seeing those wows, those aha moments. And I have those a lot, and they just keep getting bigger and better. And like, I just, even since I've been doing this series with you, like, so many things have just blown up in my life. And I talked about a lot of manifestation a few days ago. And even since I talked about that, I manifested something I told you that a day or two ago when it started. Like, I got this whole thing that I just literally manifested after telling you guys how to manifest. Like, that's what I'm saying, you know? So with that being said, and I'll tell you some point in this when it's right to come out potentially. But it's amazing when you can see the truth and the confirmation that you're on point with your intuition, and that you're following and you're taking action in that. Because when you see that, now you can believe it. And the more you believe it, the more you can achieve it. And then that's when you begin to let go, that I mentioned, and start allowing. And then the more you allow and let go, the more you can trust it. And then the more shows up for you. And the more you develop and understand and conversation with your own voice, and it expands. And it's a cycle, and it's a loop. And it's what I call the elevating your trust meter that I mentioned. So hello, Heidi. I want to say hello to you. Good. Hello, hello, hello. And let's see, we got a lot of people on Instagram here. I want to acknowledge everyone. And looks like Melanie, hello. Hello, Melanie Psychic. If anybody talked to you about intuition, that would be Melanie, because she just had a book published through Llewellyn about intuition and practical intuition. And that's amazing. Congratulations to you, Melanie. And thank all of you again for being here. I will be back tomorrow with more insights and tips and tools to help you become your best version. Don't forget to check out the link for the Sedona Rejuvenation Retreat, April 4th through 7th, in the description above or below, or in the bio and Instagram. I love all of you. I'll see you tomorrow. Loads of love.